I'm just starting, but we can do that online or not?
I usually do it before we start.
Okay, good. So let me then hold on a moment. I will need to stop the transmission because it actually started. So hold on. Oops. So can you rejoin the call? Okay. So I will disconnect us and rejoin the call. Okay.
How do I rejoin the call?
Press the same link that I've sent you earlier. Okay.
Oh, okay. So just get out of it now and then come back in.
Yeah, like give me 3 minutes to reset. Okay.
Or I already said a prayer. If you want, we could just start.
Okay, so let's start. We are online and we can start.
Okay, great. All right. Well, first of all, I want to say how excited I am to have this opportunity to be meeting with you, because I'm taking your class online, and very excited about the truth that you bring forth and the clarity with which you speak. So I guess to begin with, I want to introduce you, and you are Meir Ezra, who is a spiritual entrepreneur. He is a unique combination of business with spirituality. Meir believes that if you focus on money only, your life will never be a true success, because what is money good for without love, personal fulfillment, and growth across all areas of life? Now, I want to just tell people a little bit about you. You're Israeli born. You were raised after completing 6 years in a top unit in the Israeli submarines. Meir went to travel the Far East, including hiking through the Himalayas. Then he established a company which he grew to $100 million within 3 years by the age of 31, and continues to successfully grow multiple companies. He has been married for 35 years, has 3 beautiful children, and enjoys many hobbies, including, get this, kite surfing. He practices spirituality only, with no ties to money, because he doesn't believe that leads to true success. Because enlightenment without being able to pay your bills, going hungry, or amassing debt simply isn't true success either. More and more people are asking him to teach them the secrets of his success, so he has started teaching his friends, and before long, the world. So it is such a pleasure to welcome today to this conversation, Meir Ezra.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I have interviewed 400 people on a little show I call Planetary Spirit. And in that time, I only met one other person whose light seems to be similar to yours.
Oh, wow.
I mean, just very, very high energy, high vibration. And the touchstone for me is clarity.
Yeah.
Nothing is complicated. Everything is simple. And there's no affectation about it, like I'm higher than you and I'm giving you little seeds to, this, nothing. Yeah. No, you and I are equal. That's how I see you seeing other people you're teaching. Yeah. And to me, it's just not the way we see people in the world today who have either power, money, fame, or some type of success. We always look up at them and say, oh, a God.
Yeah.
And they say, yes, a regular human being come to talk to me. That's not who you are. You see everybody as that same level.
Yeah. Because my purpose, I think, is a little bit different I'm not trying to be interesting. I want to be interested. And I found that people actually, the truth is that people already know. The definition of the word spirit is this thing that knows. So people already know. And when you tell them that they don't know, even if you give them gold, you're actually hurting them. So the first thing you need to tell people, and the first thing they need to realize, that they're actually perfect. And anything that they see around them that they did or experienced that is not perfect, it's actually not them. And they just need to separate this noise from themselves. People are perfect, and anything that is not perfect is not them. And it can happen, and they can be perfect only for as long as they see everyone else as perfect as them. And I realized that teaching or learning is not a process of adding data, is actually a process of deleting data. And all this data from beginning to the end that you need to delete is invalidation that you did to yourself or someone else did to you, all kind of invitations for you not to know. When you remove all the invitations not to know, you become you. And at that moment, nothing can stop you. And we are almost, I don't know if it's luck or not, actually, no, it's not luck, but the fascinating thing is that once you become you, it's only good. You are incapable of doing anything bad. The spirit is incapable of doing something bad.
So the question that when I first encountered you, that I'm so happy to have this opportunity to ask. Did you come to the planet as an awakened, realized being, or did you in some way learn to unlearn what we are taught?
So I think that the only awakened being is the being that don't know that is awakened, because this is normal for me. So I don't know if it's awakened or not. It's just normal for me. I don't think that I'm awakened or not awakened, or this is how I see things, and that's how I always see things. And over the years, I improved the way to explain what I see. But I just know, I just know. I don't think that there's some major shift that happened. I just know. And there's, of course, a lot of things that I've looked and I've learned, and I realized that you can explain it like this, explain it like that. But I just know. I can tell you a short story. When I was 3 years old, I think you heard that story. When I was 3 years old, I was with the cast up to the hips, up to the age of 6. So the radio at home stopped working. It was Saturday. I opened the back of the radio, took out the vacuum tube, went to my dad and said, "We need to replace that vacuum tube." My dad said, "How do you know that this vacuum tube and not other vacuum tube or nothing or something else?" And I looked at him like I was so baffled. I said, "How do you know your name? What do you mean? When you know, you know. You don't ask how." The moment that you start to ask how or why, it's the moment that you start to fail. When you know, you know. If you just practice this, if you go through your life, if you take a day and just decide that you know, and take something that you have no prior experience with, and there's someone asks you a question, and just give an answer without any ties to the outcome. Just give an answer. Just almost invent, but it's not inventing, because the purpose is not to lie. It is just you assume that you know, and you will see that you know.
Okay, so Meir, what comes to mind for me when you say that is, if I think back as a child, and we all think back as a child at that young age, we all had that
100%
open-ended, anything is possible. I know, but everybody that you meet, you have to know. Every single one of them had that light slowly, not extinguished, but dampened, brought down lower and lower. How was it that you have been able to hold on to that incredibly powerful but tender, delicate light that a lot of us have lost track of?
I think that I didn't entertain for a second the idea that I don't know. I just, it didn't cross my mind ever. And it just happened to be that from a very young age, I showed the adults that I know. So I demonstrated. I didn't accept when they told me you don't know. I showed them that I know. And I show result in the physical universe, not just saying that I know, but I showed that I could fix things, I could build things, I could change things, I could handle people, I could do all kinds of things that supposedly I was not supposed to be able to do. So I had cast up to my hips, but I still gone into the swimming pool and I was swimming with the cast. And I came up with a way how to do that. And they saw that that I didn't entertain, I didn't agree with anyone that will tell me that I don't know. When someone will tell me that I don't know, I will convince them that they know. Not that I know, I will convince them that they know, that they can know exactly like me.
Right. Like,
and when I convince them that they know, they stop telling me that I don't know.
So I guess what comes to mind for me is now you have been out in the world doing your work for many, many years. You've certainly made enough money that money has no longer been an object for you ever since age 31, possibly earlier, I don't know. Yeah. And why now, all of a sudden, in this point of your life, have you decided to really let yourself be seen in the world, and now more so, even more so, the world at large? You're coming into an awareness. Do you believe that the world is ready for the teachings that you offer? And do you believe that the shift that we're going through now with the coronavirus and this unearthing of racism and starting to get into, these new talks with how everybody should be equal for real, is there something that is telling you now is the time, now they're ready?
Yeah. So I think that what I've seen, I've been working for a long time, many years, and I was creating this small group of people that I really trained, highly trained people that can do things that other people cannot do. And they always ask me why we don't expand this thing, why we don't do that bigger, why we don't bring more people. And I say, I'm not going to stop anyone, but I'm not going to bring people in. So if someone wants to come, I'll teach him, but I'm not going to market it heavily and start to close people. But what's happened with the coronavirus, somewhere around December, I've made the first video on the coronavirus, and I realized that this thing is something that is more than the coronavirus, because the coronavirus is really not an issue. I mean, if it's not an issue, the issue is that most people are not willing to look at the data. Now, why do I say that? Let's say that the number of people that die from corona is true, and let's say that it's around 400,000 people, and by the end of the year it will be 1 million. Okay, 1 million people will die from corona. Let's say that it's true. It's not. Let's say, okay. In the last 5 months, most of the countries around the world were in quarantine, which means the number of people that actually drove was about 10% of the usual number of people that driving, and the consumption of fuel was about 10%, and everything reduced by 90%. But still, about 250,000 people die in car accidents.
Right. Right.
Which means that if the vehicles were normal and everyone will go out normally, we will have about 3 million people that die, 2.5, 3 million people that will die this year from car accidents, if not more. Okay?
Right. Right.
So it's about 3 times more than coronavirus will ever do.
Yeah.
No one jumped. There's about 6 million people that die from cancer.
Right.
There's about 5 million children under the age of 5 that die up to now, just up to May. So the numbers do not make sense, and still people are afraid. So what I realize is that there is an actual push to make people afraid.
Right. Right.
The problem is not the corona. The problem is the fear. The problem is the hysteria.
Yeah.
And it's such a big problem that people think that their health is more important than their freedom. I've done a poll, I've asked, and we've done few polls, not only me, a few people done poll, and they ask, what more important, your health or your freedom? 65% in average says that the health is more important than their freedom, which means they prefer to be in a box, caged in a box, but healthy, than to be free and get sick. If that's true, then if someone doing something unethical and he says, well, if you do anything, you may get sick, so do anything unethical. If there is a war to go out and you may get killed, you say, no, I'm not going to protect my country. If there is someone that come to kill your family and he said, well, I will shoot you if you will move, then you will not move because your health is more important than your freedom.
Right.
It's nonsense. And that hit me very hard. And I realized that if 65, 70% of people think that the freedom is not as important, we are all going to be caged very soon. And I'm not talking about conspiracy theories. I'm talking about just the mechanism of this universe is working.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And that's when I realized that I need to speed up what I'm doing. And I started to talk about the coronavirus and about freedom. And I started to give people tools to become free now and to become successful, because you cannot be spiritually free and hungry. You cannot be poor and free. There's no person that is really poor that is free, because in this universe, you need money or you need income. It doesn't have to be money. You need some kind of an income to survive. Buddha tried to live on 1 grain of rice, and he realized it doesn't work. He realized that's not the way.
Right.
So when I realized that, I realized that people need a hand, and they need a hand that will be very simple to understand, really simple, regardless what's your education, regardless what is your background, very simple to understand, but so powerful that it's more powerful than all the atom bombs together. And that's what I'm teaching, something really simple that if you will implement 10%, you will become so rich that even the Jewish people will come to you and say, hey, how do you do it?
Before we go too far, I just want to let people know that if they want to contact you or find out more about you, they need to go to www.meirezra.com, Meir Ezra, or they could contact you through phone, and that would be 1-844-TOPCOACH, Top Coach.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official, or you cannot miss me online.
Okay. And I would just have to say, it's a rare opportunity to be speaking with an individual of the light that you bring into this world, of recognizing the godness of yourself in everyone you come upon, and helping us to all wake up to who it is we came to be and came here to be. So it's monumental work that you are doing, monumental work. And
you.
every time I hear you talk about things that, I mean, I'm so used to having conversations on this level. And as you talk, we're going deeper and deeper and deeper. And yet I'm understanding every word you're saying. Nothing you're saying is like so crazy that I can't, wrap my brain around it. No, it all makes sense. But it says to me, you have to rethink how you've been thinking about your life in order to live your life fully.
Yep. And these two things. Number one, how do you know someone knows something? He can explain it to a 6 years old. If I explain to you something and it sounds too complex, I don't know. It's not you, the student, that have learning disabilities. It's me, the teacher, that have teaching disabilities. If I teach you and you don't get it, I consider it my and only my failure. That's number one. And number two, I think that once you realize that everyone knows, you will see that once they realize that they also know, they will also realize that they can do something about the situation. And the moment that you realize that something can be done about it, just something, not important, just a little bit an improvement, at that moment, the sky is not the limit for you. Because if you can improve in a millimeter, you can improve in a mile. And that's really the key. Just the realization that you can improve. And this is this is like one side, and everyone else tell you there's nothing to do. Like that's it. There's a virus, and we have to wait, and maybe there will be a vaccine. And even if there will be a vaccine, we don't know who will die and who not. And you are an effect, and if you are an effect, you are dead, you are dead, you are dead. And we, the gods, politicians, or the media, will tell you what to do. You, the God, you, the spirit, will tell you what to do, will tell your body what to do. And if you lose your body in the process, so be it. I heard that when you die, they give you bodies for free. You go to heaven, they give you a free body. You don't ask for mortgage, nothing.
See, that's the whole thing. You have embraced not being fearful around death. And in this country, we don't even speak about death. You know? So by doing that, by having that embrace of death, you have freed yourself from,
If they cannot kill you, what can they do? If they cannot kill you, what can they do to you? Nothing. If you're not, you see, when I was, I think I was something like 24, 25, something like that. I had this vision of a person that I never met in my life, never. But it was very, she was very real to me. Like I know her better than myself. But I just woke up and I thought that was a dream. But I couldn't shake this thing off. She kept the details kept on coming, and then I thought, it was in Paris, and my father and mother, my parents were from Morocco, and they went to France, so maybe they told me something, and I tried to come up with all kind of explanation because my head is a very technical, very engineering way. I need to prove everything. It needs to be organized. It needs to be, there need to be something need to make sense there. And it didn't make sense. I just knew. That was totally like, what? I don't know this person. I know I don't know. I don't know this person. But I had this thing that I knew that I know. And I said, okay, fine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to either prove it or disprove it. So I wrote everything down, put it in an envelope, gave it to a friend of mine, call a lawyer in Paris and say, hey, I want you to find about this person. I gave him the name and ID and bank account number. And I said, I want you to find this, everything you know about this person. And he told me, Ellen told me, do you know that person? I said, I think so, I'm not sure. So I'm calling my friend, I'm telling him, hey, we are going to go to Paris. He says, what? I say, I'm paying. He says, no problem. So we fly, yeah, we're flying to Paris. We go to this lawyer, we sit at the lawyer, and I asked the lawyer, okay, tell me, what did you find about that person? And that guy, my friend, looked at me and he's like, who is this? What are we doing here? What are you doing? Are you nuts? And I said, just hold on a moment. And the lawyer started to tell everything about this person, blah, 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 blah. I told him, open the letter. He opened the letter, and my friend is dark. And he opened the letter and he became white. As he read the letter, he became more and more and more white. And he's like, what's that? At that moment, I knew that I'm not my body. I'm not my body. That's why I said my body. It's like my car, my phone. I'm not my phone. I'm not my car. I'm not my body. I'm not my past. I'm not even my actions. And once you get that, you're free. Not a second before.
And deeply get that, not like get that like I'm going to go take a walk, or and that was nice, and I forgot about that 2 days from now. No, that becomes your new truth, and that's how you live your life from that point on in a brand new way.
Know it, like you know your name. You don't think about it. You don't explain it. You know your name. You like, I know my name. Someone asks me my name. I don't need to take my iPhone and to see in the notes what my name, yes? Or to think, oh, what is my teacher told me about my name? Let me see, how did he define it? No, I just know my name.
Right.
It has to be at that level.
Yeah. Now there's a quote on my website, which I didn't write. And to be honest with you, I'm forgetting who wrote it. But it says, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not human beings, being spiritual. We are spiritual beings first.
Yeah, we're spiritual being creating the experience, not having, because if you are having, you are not anymore a spiritual being. I'm a spiritual being creating an experience that I call it right now human experience.
Okay.
I'm creating. Yeah, create means bring something out of nothing.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Yeah. Yeah, you're very empowering in your teaching. Yeah, well, thank you. We're just about...
The nuances of how people talk, if you listen to how they talk, you can actually realize from what they say what you need to show them.
Yes. Yes. But how many people listen that carefully and that deeply to what someone else is saying versus what they're saying? And how many people even listen to what they're saying that deeply? I mean, that's in some respects where I find your power of observation, of almost belly wisdom, is that you are bringing all of you into every conversation, even though there's this wonderful, gentle smile, there's this, very playful energy, there's this light that emanates from your eyes, but there is this intensity that is behind that of focus and love.
Yeah.
It's all pure love.
Yeah, it's you are very, very, very correct. And I see that in many people. I don't think it's only me. Speak to some of my students that are with me that done a few of the advanced classes, and you will see, speak to Marcel, speak to Pedro, speak to Monica, speak to those people that have been with me, and you will see this shift happen to them and or they created that shift. And once they created that shift, when it didn't happen to them, when they created it, at that moment, you can see that they command the space. They actually commanded the space. They actually are so interested that they putting all the space there because they are really interested. And really, that's the definition of power. Power is defined by the size of the space that you command.
Power is defined by the size of the space that you command.
Yeah.
Ah. So Nelson Mandela commanded South Africa.
100%, even when he was in jail. That's
Yes.
the power.
Yes. I'll tell you what I found absolutely, and again, you know, I see it very rarely, but after 27 years of being in jail, I remember when he was released from jail, and I had a little black and white TV, and they were showing pictures of him coming outside the gate for the first time. And I got off my chair, walked as close to that television because I wanted to see his face. And
Yeah.
when I saw his face, it was like looking at Jesus.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
this man has no anger in his heart whatsoever. How is that possible?
Yeah. It's possible because he didn't consider that he was jailed. Because you're not jailed before you consider that you have been jailed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not in pain before you consider that you're in pain. You're not happy before you consider that you are happy. So you create your own feeling. No one makes the feeling for you.
And how few of us are awake and aware to recognize that we are creators of everything that we have brought into this universe for us to be interacting with. And that's such a simple concept, but how many people will actually take that on and say, that is truth?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The moment that you actually realize, the moment, you know, the word clever mean the ability to recognize truth. Ability to recognize truth. So the moment that you realize that truth, the moment that you actually realize that truth, you will see that just having even a second of like, oh yes, you will have a discharge and the past will go away and you will be able to start creating your future now. And what does it mean now? Now mean how much future you can put there. Now mean how much future you can put there.
Because
so there's
now,
some people, yeah, this is now. There's some people that think, I don't know what will happen. I don't know what will happen. They don't have any future. They're totally stuck in the past. And that's the definition of insanity. Attention stuck in the past. And some people that know I can create a second and they can live. And some people think I can create a minute and they're really powerful. And when you see someone that can create an hour or a day ahead, that he's like 100% sure this is the day, I'm putting it there, you see a giant amongst men. Because for him, there is no insanity. He is not stuck in the past. What's happened a second ago, it's irrelevant for him because he is not his action. And the beautiful thing is that the responsibility goes up and everything goes up because you don't need to do something bad. You don't need to do something wrong to create an effect. You can create an effect. The only reason people doing bad things is because they believe that the effect they created so far was not good. The good effect was not an effect. So they reverse and they start to lie because even lying is a creation, low level, but it's still creation.
Sure. Now, how does that tie in with your 5-second teaching?
Okay, so the 5-second rule is a mechanism to break the considerations that you already have. What do I mean? A usual person is trained unconsciously to look in the environment and he is basically a radar for reason to fail. He has a strong urge to surrender and he just looking around for reason to fail. So he goes to do push-up and he starts to think, oh, it's difficult. I did not do push-ups before. I did not eat today. I'm tired. It's painful. This is all reasons to fail. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So most people, most of the time, are really bound on the urge to surrender. Now, what I say, in order to break that automatic mechanism that you've been doing for billions of years, I came up with the 5-second rule. What is the 5-second rule? The 5-second rule is a rule that you do, that you say, look, I have to do only 5 seconds. Only 5 seconds. Now, of course, you know that you have to do 5 more and 5 more and 5 more. But you say, I know that I have to do only 5 seconds. And you know that you lie to yourself that there is not more. But that's how you create a game. How do you create a game? You create a game when you know that there's an opponent. You know you put him there. You know you can take him off. You can win him or you can fight or not. Because if you cannot fight him, if you think that you're going to lose, it's not a game anymore. It's just a loss. So you know you've got a good chance to win, and you create the game by putting the next 5 seconds and next 5 seconds, next 5 seconds, and lying to yourself. It's the creation of the other side, the minus. So the plus is the 5 seconds, and the minus is the other 5 seconds will never come. I will win, I will win, I will win. And if you do 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, you see that all of a sudden, very quickly, you stop counting the 5 seconds, and you just realize that you can. And how it happened to me in the army, but one of the good description of this thing, one day I had a student in a seminar. We had, I don't know, 100, 150 people in the seminar. And I was talking about the power of the spirit and that with the spirit you can do anything. And he stood up and said, yes, if you're so powerful, can you do 7-minute plank? I said, probably I can, just plank. You know, plank.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I said, I can do probably 7 minutes. Just tell me what is plank, because I never done plank, never saw it, never heard the word. I didn't know there's a word like that in English. So he said, I'll show you, no problem. So he showed me and he said, I've been training for 6 months and now I'm doing 7 minutes and there's no way you can do 7 minutes. If you can do 1 minute, it's impressive. I said, okay, good, I'll do it. Well, not a problem. You buying dinner? He says, yes. So I go down and I do 7 minutes and he's like, everyone is ecstatic and wow, how did you do that? How did you do that? And I said, look, can I tell you something? I cheated. And they said, how did you cheat? I said, actually, I didn't do 7 minutes. I've done many 5 seconds.
Right.
For me, it was not 7 minutes.
Right.
For me, it was never 7 minutes. I didn't hear the 7 minutes. I actually decided that there is no 7 minutes. There is only 5 seconds.
Right.
And you will see that if you do it like that, you create a game. And you create a game. And when you're playing a game, you'll see that all of a sudden you're enjoying it. You don't want to win. You don't want to not lose. You're enjoying the game. And when you enjoy the game, it becomes so easy when it's difficult. A game becomes easy when it's difficult, when you're enjoying it. When you do a job and you decide that it's a game, that you're enjoying the work, you will see your work will become the best play in your universe. People ask me, how can you work so many hours? Sometimes I work 2-3 hours, 2-3 days straight, non-stop. How can you work so many hours? I don't work. It's a game for me. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun. If I do kite surfing, if I do that, if I ride motorcycle, if I jump from airplanes, if I do anything that is challenging, that is dangerous, that it's not easy, I enjoy it. But for things that I do that take nothing, let's say I go to watch a movie on Netflix, because I need to sit with the family and watch a movie in Netflix, I get really tired because there's no game. I know what will happen, of course.
Yeah. So it's like they say, if you enjoy the work you do, you never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
And the other one would be that very old Asian saying, the longest journey begins with the first step.
Yeah.
So 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds.
Yeah. I would say the longest journey begin with the first 5 seconds.
Right.
You need to decide that you do the first 5 seconds. You need to decide. And by the way, there is an actual reason why 5, not 4, not 3. But this is it's not just, I didn't come up with the 5 just as a number. There's an actual reason, and it has to do with the deterioration of the spirit and how the spirit deteriorates from all knowing to being an effect. But that's a little bit more of an explanation, and I will explain it. I will explain it in the Yoga Sutra. I think that you will be there. So in the Yoga Sutras, I will explain it and why it is like that and so on.
Okay. Okay.
But that's well, 5 steps of deterioration.
I look forward to hearing that explanation, because everything else you've been saying has been very challenging to the way I've ever thought.
Yes.
But it all makes sense, and it's all. It just seems like every class seems to me like another gift I get to unwrap.
Wow.
And enjoy thoroughly, because it reminds me of Christmas as a child. My grandmother used to say, Jeff just doesn't open up the presents. He shakes before he opens. He's so excited. And there's some of that energy when I come to take part in your classes, because I know that I have to clear out the cobwebs in my mind in order to be able to bring in this new, fresh energy that's filling me with new ideas, new possibilities, and the horizon seems to stretch longer and wider. I mean, look at you as an individual. I have no idea what age you are, but you have the joy and the light streaming through you like very few people I see. Very few people. And
thank you.
Well, and that just goes back to what I said before. Anybody who does work that they enjoy never works a day in their life. You play all day long.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you understand that you're the chess master, you are the creator, and you love the game.
Yes, and I enjoy the game. Even if the game do not work, I enjoy it because I created it. It's fine.
Right. So it's almost like there is no negativity. There is no room for it in your game.
Yeah, what I say is that when a person realizes that he needs to be able to win and lose with the same level of enthusiasm,
yes,
he can enjoy the game. Because otherwise, you either want to win when things go well, and when things don't go well, you don't want to lose. But in both cases, you will lose eventually. Why? In this universe, this plus and this minus, okay? Everything is composed of 2 plus and minus.
Sure.
Now, if you put your attention on the plus and only the plus, what you do, unbeknown to you, you intensify the minus. So the minus grow without your control. So when you say, I want good, one day you will get bad. You'll see that sometimes people get very good news, and very quickly after that, they get a disaster. After every good news, there is some disaster that's coming in. And it's like almost like good news bringing problems. So people say, you know what? Don't give me bad news. Don't give me good news. I will not take the bad news. And the reason is because they look only at the plus. So if you say, I want to be healthy, you say it because you're actually not healthy. If
Ah,
if you say I want to be healthy, I want to be healthy, you say it because you are not healthy. If you see a person that say I want to be successful, I want to be successful, I want to be successful, you looking at a failure, a big failure, because someone that already succeeded, at least in his head, will not want to be successful. He will want to be creative, he will want to help people. So I
ah.
say success is a target only for failures. Because only
You,
when you are a failure, you want to be successful.
you know, you're hurting a lot of people out there who do seminars all day long about success. And all they do is tell people to focus on success. So you're
Yeah.
putting them all out of business.
Because what happened with these people, and I think they have very, very, very good intention, but they don't know, they don't actually understand what they're doing. So yes,
Right.
they becoming successful, the lecturers becoming successful, but
Yep.
99.9% of the industry of self-help, you have people that losing because they pay much more than they will ever recover, because what they've learned is good saying things that sounds amazing but not true. So they're actually becoming even deeper in the problem, because truth will make you lighter and will allow you to do anything. So you see most people, I heard sometimes, some time ago, when I was in my son's school, and a lady was talking there, and she was saying something like, if you take a person and you give him a fish, you give him a
Right.
meal, but if you give him a fishing rod, you teach him how to fish, and he has many meals. And I said, that's
Right.
nonsense. I said, that's nonsense. And like my son looked at me and said, what do you mean nonsense? What's wrong with that? I said, well,
Yep.
now I put him in jail that called the fisherman. Why don't teach him to know so he can be fisherman, pilot, not a fisherman, not anything? Why do I need to limit him? Why do I need to put him in a jail of from now on, you're a fisherman and I'm God and you are president? And that looks to me like really not good. So if you take a person
Hmm.
and you teach him that he knows, you actually get him the ability to be anything he wants at will.
It's such an explosive idea that, that I'm almost wondering if that's illegal to say that out loud.
Yes, probably the one that they will take us off YouTube.
I mean, these are ideas that are so far out of the box
Mhm.
that, I mean, having that many people running around with that much freedom for people in power, that's a very scary thought,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I mean, let me ask you this, if I may, Meir. What
Mhm.
is the most important thing that you want people to know at this time in the creation of the world about themselves that will bring more light into this universe and that we're ready to hear?
Something can be done about it. Just realize something can be done about it. I don't care if you come to hear what can be done about it from me, from yourself, from your
Mhm.
grandmom, from your rabbi, from your church, from, I don't know, from your dog. But something can be done about it.
Now,
There's
again,
always something that can be done about it. Just something. And if you can improve a little bit, it's not so bad.
now that is the type of clarity that's almost mystical in my interpretation, because it's again why I'm drawn to you and why I think, in my belief, you are such a powerful and profound teacher, because you're saying something so seemingly simple, but you're really saying, have the understanding that no matter what it is you're confronting, you have the power to change it, no matter how big it is, no matter how awesome it is, no matter how horrible it is. something can be done about it. You can change whatever it is you're confronting. Woo!
It's unbelievable. It's easy. It's simple because all you have to is to change a little bit, something. You don't have to fix the whole universe.
Yeah.
If you can change one thing, you will find soon enough you can change two things. And then 4, and then 16, and then 32, and then 64, and then 128. And you will be surprised how fast that progress happens as long as you don't try to move from 1 to 16. You go to 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 16. Don't jump too much. Just something can be done about it. Do just that thing. Don't expect a universe that has been destroyed for 70 trillion years to be fixed in 73 seconds. It's not going to happen. Just something, just a little bit, one thing, and then 2. And don't expect it after that to be 20, 4, and then 16. And even that is very fast. Even that is very fast. But if you do that on anything you do, if you go to the gym and don't try day one to pick up 100 kilo and you hurt yourself or you get so tight the next day that you cannot do anything and you never go to the gym again.
Yeah.
If you go to do a diet, don't go and say, I want to lose 50 kilos and today I lost 1 gram, so it's very bad. No, I want to do something about it. 1 gram.
Right.
And then 2 grams. And then 4 grams. And you start in grams, you start in something really, really nothing. And you don't buy the story of let me go faster, I can. I know you can.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways to demonstrate responsibility is the ability to withhold. One of the definition of the word responsibility is the ability to withhold, not to do because you know it's not correct. And that's what people don't, almost never get. And the gradient is too fast for them, they fail, and once they fail, they don't continue, and that's the end of that.
So what I'm hearing you say, if I hear you correctly, is that you're saying, first of all, I am the creator of this universe. That's number one. Number two, what I'm hearing you say is once I do something about it, I make a new creation in spite of what's ever confronting me, whatever the barrier is that is in front of me, I have now taken one step beyond it. And using the 5-second rule, if I then in 5 more seconds take another step, then I'm all of a sudden running.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then what happens is the consciousness, the conscious awareness is that I remember where I used to be. I see that I've created something new. I've done something about it. And I have now created my new universe.
Yeah. You created what's called success. Success is the sum of all validated improvements.
Success is the sum of all validated improvement.
Yeah. So it's not the size of the improvement, it's the number. So you are not doing well, and then you don't go and sell $1 billion in day one. You sell 60 cents to your mom, and then you sell another $1 to your friend, and you sell another $2 to someone that you know. And it seems nothing, but that's what you do. You report to yourself, because usually you sell 60 cents to your mom and you say, well, it's only for mom. You invalidate it. No, you validate it. You report to yourself, I improved. Then $2 to your friend. You don't say, well, he's my friend, he helped me. No. That's an improvement. It's improvement. You just report to yourself an improvement. And if you go for 3 hours reporting to yourself improvements, you will discover how powerful you are. Just look. Any person that will do this drill will just look, take 3 hours, And just every time there's an improvement, you don't have to do too much. Just report to yourself, hey, improvement, hey, improvement, hey, improvement. Well, I was nice to that guy, improvement. I was this, improvement. I didn't look at Instagram every 5 minutes. I looked every 7 minutes, improvement. Smallest improvement, just report to yourself, improvement, improvement, improvement. All of a sudden you will realize that, well, you know what, I can. And the moment that you say, I can, that's the difference between a person that fail and a person that succeeds. A person that succeeds think that he can. That's all, nothing more.
Again, you bring it down to such a simple step to take that a monkey could do this. and that's what gives me such hope, you know, that you have this really deep understanding of spiritual matters, of energy and the realms outside of energy in this physical universe, but you're able to bring it down to such simple terms that we can then get the one step that will bring the enlightenment that we're looking for and live our lives enlightened, live our lives aware, live our lives awake, live our lives with joy in our hearts every 5 seconds for the rest of our lives that we've chosen to create our future.
Amazing. Yeah. Simple. It's really, really simple. If you want to know if something is simple, anything that looks complicated, it's actually simple.
And anything that's complicated is actually simple. Okay.
Yeah, because the opposite of simple is plus. So you can look at love and you will know that the other side is hate. And you can look at hate, you know there's love. So if you take a brother and sister that fighting, you see there is a big hate. Why? Because there was a big love. But if you fight with someone in the street that cut you, okay, there's 2 seconds anger, but there's no hate. There's maybe anger. Maybe there's an amazement, but there's no hate. It's not something so rooted in you that you are willing now to fight and spend all your life fighting that person. Why? Because when there's big hate, there must be before big love. Plus come before minus. So you just need to understand when it seems to be there's a big problem, it means there's no problem. I know it sounds weird, but it's true.
Well, it's not weird. The reason I'm laughing is because you take these complicated things that we really want to get all tied up in knots with, and you say, oh, that's complicated? That's simple. I'm looking at it, I'm trying to see the simplicity.
You know, it's very easy to prove because you can have a very, very big problem, major problem that you are totally in it. Now someone come and shoot you, that earlier problem become nothing. And this new problem is a real thing.
That's right.
So if it was really a real problem, then you would have 2 problems, but you don't. You have one real problem at a time.
Okay. Meir, Ezra, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to have your light broadcast a little bit further in the world through this opportunity to speak with you. And you are just such a pleasure and such a joy and such a gift to this world. So thank you very much. I just want to let people know again that the way to find you is to go to www.meirezra.com, meirezra.com, MEIREZRA.com, or to phone you at 1-844-TOP-COACH, TOPCOACH.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you can always find me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official. And you can always look her up and you will see me also.
Absolutely.
That was just a joke. Thank you.
No,
Thank you very much.
You may say it's a joke, but it is the truth. Because anybody who's looking towards heaven or looking at a higher vibration sees themselves and then sees you there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. It was really a pleasure talking to you. And thank you for everyone that's listening and everyone that's watching this thing on a recording or if you've been here with us right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Namaste.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
Cheers.